Well, thanks for joining us on the Amarillo Exchange Group podcast. We have a good episode for you today. This is going to be our first one. It's a good way for if y'all want to know a little bit more about the Amarillo Exchange Group, or if y'all want to see what everything is involved in the group itself. This is a good opportunity to listen to some of our guests and get to know us in the group a little bit. My name is Matt Groen. I'll be one of your hosts throughout all the podcasts. I'll be here occasionally. Sometimes I won't be. You'll have Tony and Madison, and this is one of our hosts here. This is going to be Tony.
Welcome.
All right, and so our first guest for this week is going to be Jeremiah Mendoza. We're going to just have him tell us a little bit about his business to get started and kind of tell us what inspired him to start it and kind of how he got his start in the industry. So,
all right. Well, Jeremiah Mendoza, thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate the invite for this podcast this morning. So what inspired me was just being in the oil field for 13 years, trying to get home, and a way out of the oil field, it just grabs a hold of you sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Keeps people locked in there. Just be home with the family and the kiddos, missed a lot of their growing up. So.
No, I can definitely understand that. Kids of my own, and I definitely get that one to be around. How did you get your start in the industry whenever you decided that that's what you wanted to do?
Well, so I just started off, so we worked 2 weeks on and 1 week off, and I just started detailing cars, and it started picking up. Then just talking to friends and family about maybe going a little bit further into detailing cars and getting bigger jobs as far as restaurants and stuff like that.
So you switched over from cars to restaurants and driveways, parking lots.
Yes, sir,
yeah. Okay.
So,
all right.
So outside of restaurants and cars and things, what other services do you provide at Bomb City?
We do fleet washes. So if you got a fleet from, smart cars, semis, buses, pickup trucks, we can take care of that fleet for you. Fence restoration, if your fence has like that grayish black color on it, we can get that to look pretty almost new again.
Okay.
House washes, especially right now in Amarillo, we just had that dust storm, and all that dust is coated
Settles
cars.
On your brick. And,
coated the houses with all that dust and the brick especially.
Sure.
We can get those washed off for you. Patios, restaurant equipment covered in grease. We have pretty good degreaser that'll eat that up.
Okay.
Get it cleaned
So you'll
up.
go inside of the restaurant, like clean hood vents?
We'll bring the equipment out.
Bring it out. Oh, okay.
Yes,
all right.
Yeah.
Awesome. And for those of us that don't understand what a fleet is, can you kind of explain what that is?
Oh, yeah, just any business that has, a pretty group of cars, like 5 or more cars. You got company cars that are like Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
They have all their delivery vehicles. That's a fleet right there. Or
okay.
Your school buses, trucking companies that have a huge amount of trucks. So,
okay. Sure. So if somebody had a fleet like that, then they would want to get a hold of you to help get it taken care of, clean up.
Yes,
Y'all do inside and outside of the vehicles?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We can do it inside. We're mobile too, so we go out to their location.
Awesome.
Of their, after the drivers get done for the day, we'll show up at nights. We work late nights.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
all right.
So how long have you been in business for yourself?
Oh, I started detailing back in 2013, and then just going to more residential and commercial properties the last 3 years.
Okay.
So we're doing pretty good, staying busy, trying to stay busy.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. How long do you feel like it took before you felt like you were starting to see the product of all of the hard work you've been putting in?
Well, it took me a while to see it. It wasn't really ever a vision at first until people started telling me like, hey man, this is like, you need to keep going with it.
Yeah.
And so finally we just took that leap of faith, and I was able to quit the oil field and just, got to be scared to take that leap. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it took me a while though.
Were there any hardships that you had in the oil field that disappeared once you started Bomb City Pressure Pros, and were there vice versa problems that you didn't have that all of a sudden now you're stressed out about with it?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like just being home in general has just I feel like made me who I need to be, and especially for my kiddos and my wife. So yeah, just being in the oil field, having a family, it gets pretty lonely, man. It gets it's not good. It sucks.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. So just being home has definitely been the best. The hardships of being home and doing your own deal is just you got to get out there. You don't clock in for somebody, so you got to be the one to go out there and get your work.
Clocking in for yourself.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
So going back to the folks that were telling you, hey, keep going, you're doing great, and tying it to the hardships, who's been your biggest inspiration or motivator to get you out of bed every day and just keep going?
My kiddos and my wife. Yeah, I mean it's got to go back to that. I mean that was always my ultimate goal, and it still is. Like I got to just make sure I keep afloat to stay home, be with the kids, because I believe kids need both parents, and I got to be there for them. And I already done missed my two older ones growing up. They're teenagers now, so I missed all that.
Okay.
So yeah, awesome. My kiddos are my wife.
Absolutely.
I think we can both relate to that 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. It's a group of guys with kiddos. I got two little boys of my own. I know Tony has.
Yep, I got two teenagers.
Yeah, I got two teenage boys, and so I know it gets wild every once in a while. But it's all for them essentially.
It's got to be in it.
Are they involved in helping you in anything that you do?
Oh yeah, man. They like to go with me sometimes, and they'll try to use the pressure washer, but I have to hold them up against the wall because
it'll take them back.
Yeah.
How small or young are they?
So I got a 17-year-old son, 16-year-old daughter, a 7-year-old daughter, and a 5-year-old son. So I like to go out and do a couple of the fleets with me, on properties that will allow me to, not all of them. So, but they love it, man. Just washing cars.
Yeah.
I go out there.
So which one of the four fight for the pressure washing gun?
Oh, Anna Lee, man. 7-year-old daughter, she likes to. Yeah, Avery, I took her. She's my 17-year-old daughter, 16-year-old daughter. I had her go with me last month, and she's like, "Dad, my arm is sore." And I'm like, "Yeah." So it's funny.
Is that something that you enjoy doing, like having your kids with you whenever you go to jobs? Is that what? Growing up, I grew up on a farm, and so it was kind of like almost a respect thing amongst the community that was like, oh, this family works together, like it's a thing, and so it was always just expected, and it was almost like more respected as like a family sort of thing, to where sometimes I feel like in the Amarillo area, it's almost like the exact opposite. People find you like very redneckish or like don't want you to have your kids like unprofessional with you while you're working, but it was always kind of like I guess a thing of like you're learning how to work by watching your parents do that. It's just like kind of just like a learning thing as you're getting older.
Yeah, I think it's very important for them to see what goes into
what puts food on
the table. What we have at the house,
yeah.
Why we have it. I think it's important for them to see that there's other opportunities than just clocking in somewhere. And also, when they do go with me, I don't make it work. You got to find a way to make it for your kids, especially the younger ones, that it's fun.
They want to help.
Especially at home. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to have them, teach them to do laundry or dishes, I think it's important to show them that it's not work, and that way they will be voluntarily helping you instead of trying to dragging them out to clean their room or something.
Yep.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And I think it's a great point that Matt makes, and you as well, is like, I feel like these days it's almost like you said, if you bring your kid to work, it's unprofessional, but like how else do you get more real world experience unless you go with your dad or your mom to when you own your own business and kind of show them how to talk to people, how to do the work, you know, the safety stuff, and
How
they
to
just
show
learn
up.
better. Yeah,
How to show
yeah,
up
how
and
to
do
show
what
up.
you said you do.
Yeah, just show up. That's half the battle, right?
See, and I know what jobs I can and cannot take them. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, they're not gonna go with me where somewhere they need hard hats and steel toe
Oh
boots
yeah,
or
no,
something.
yeah, and there's definitely the thing as a parent that you have to, you know, you have to make sure that you're doing the right things and making the right decisions. But yeah, that was the thing. I mean, growing up, it was a deal where it was like the family that works together was almost more respected amongst the work community, because it was like, oh, they're all together, they're all in on this thing, and so. But yeah, here it seems kind of a little bit different.
Yeah. So what's been the hardest lesson for you these last 3 years growing your business?
Hardest lesson. Whew.
Yeah, it would
Well,
almost
lesson
be
learned
like
and taught is just to make sure to like put enough money aside for maintenance. Maintenance is, you know, never know. You can do preventative maintenance all the time, but people don't see behind the scenes of what it takes to keep your equipment running, so you're not down on the job and having to scatter around for parts and stuff.
having your employees know how to take care of it on the spot instead of having to call you.
So like in our industry, the winter time we slow down because, you know, if it's freezing, we can't pressure wash nothing. So you got to make sure that you save for those months or weeks that you're not working. You know, so it's
in the roofing industry, I'm with TRX Roofing, so I mean, with that, it's the same. Sometimes it can be feast or famine. The winter months are hard to put roofs on, so I can definitely understand you on that level with you for sure.
Yep. And I know with the power washing equipment, you probably use and abuse that thing. So maintenance and parts, it's probably priority number one, huh?
Yeah, just simple as like little bitty rubbers, you know, those are that go out, you know, you got to replace often. You got to make sure everything's running good. Oil changes, you know, those are very minimum, at least once a month.
Fuel filters.
Keeping track, fuel filters, keeping track of your hours of your run time.
On the machine. Yeah,
because I like to do like every 100 hours, change the oil out and the pump oil. So
Sure.
So with those things in mind, if you could go back and like tell you at the start of your career, give you some advice, I guess what would the best things that you would want to let somebody know if you're going to start this pressure washing business, detailing business? These are some things that I didn't do that you should do, or vice versa.
Great question.
Probably have an inventory of parts, you know, even minor parts. Have at least a couple of jobs that you know are going to be either every week or at least once a month that you know is going to be consistent money coming in. So, and then to know what your finances are and how much to put back towards your business. Because if you're just living check to check, then it's not gonna. And when maintenance comes,
It's tough.
It's gonna be very
You're not going to be
tough.
able to maintenance it. Yeah.
So I think just be smart. Think twice of things that you're doing. Do a lot of research in this industry because it's not always about pressure. You know, we hear pressure washing, but it's not always about pressure. So.
So do y'all use any like kind of chemicals or anything? We talked about that. Like,
we use quite a bit of different chemicals. So as far as like the detailing side, you know, we don't use like Walmart products. So we have like an acid for your wheels to make them pop again, make them shine, get all that iron off from your brakes. So we got the acid. We got a chemical for the fences that we use to get off all that algae and stuff. Your driveways, we have a different chemical for that. Your house wash, we have different for that.
So those chemicals, how long would you say are they toxic, or do they affect like the homeowners' animals, or their kids going to have to worry about going out afterwards after y'all are done?
So the chemicals do have a potential of damaging things, but if you take precaution and like taping things off, like electrical outlets are on the outside of the house. You got to tape those up. If you have like brass knobs, you got to tape that up and cover it. Water the grass very well, saturate it, almost like if you're watering it for them.
Yeah.
And so that way, and never had an issue.
Okay.
So, and then once you do get to cleaning the sidewalk or driveway or whatever, the house, as you're washing it, you're just diluting it down even more.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and that's another thing. So you got to know at what percentage of strength that you need that chemical for what job what job is at hand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that way you're not just going in super concentrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it sounds like you know your stuff, right? Like you're very professional. And let me ask you this: if you could, look back for the last 3 years, what would you have done differently? Because I feel like you know what you're talking about, but obviously you've probably learned that process through the last 3 years. But do you think you would have done anything differently?
I think maybe started, and I still don't do this often as I'd like to now, so it's still a learning process, is posting on Facebook more,
Okay.
and maybe more videos and teaching people, because anybody can buy a pressure washer and do some of the work that I do, but to have the knowledge of these chemicals and how, because they come concentrated, and like I said, it's not always pressure, and that's why we have a soft wash also, and you don't want to put pressure to like siding, like vinyl houses, vinyl siding, you're gonna tear it up. Garage doors, you don't want to put pressure on those gutters. So I think just
Or like that, like MDF kind of like siding.
Yeah.
Like the little sheds that people have that.
yeah. I mean
Rip it apart, I would imagine.
well, even the wood fences, the picket fences, if you put pressure to that, they call it fur. You're gonna fur the wood, and that pressure is pretty much just digging into it and tearing up those fibers inside that wood.
Okay.
So have you had any mishaps?
And if you did, how did you overcome?
I'm
Yeah.
very cautious I'm very cautious. So everything I do, I've done on my personal property first, so I know. And if I come across a project that I haven't done before, I'll test something out in a very inconspicuous spots where nobody would ever see it or something. But no, I haven't had any mishaps.
Yeah.
So you're out there at your house testing things first. What does your wife think about that?
She just lets me do me. She's not
Stays out the way, huh?
Oh yeah, she's as long as it's helping me out, she don't care.
Yeah.
She's
Looking out the window like, what is he up to now?
even our cars, like, hey babe, I bought a new chemical for the car. Let me try it out. So, all right. So
let's see. What is like the time frame on like if somebody were to say that they wanted you to come and do, say, their whole property, if you did fence, house, driveway, sidewalks, what would somebody be looking at? Would that just be a day a time, or would that be like maybe a couple of days on say like a typical residential house? We're not talking mansions or anything like that.
Yeah, the house wash would be done in a day. The fence restoration, it just depends. If they just want the color back, then that can be done within a few hours. If they're wanting me to come back and stain it, after we've brought that color back, we'll have to wait 2 days, maybe, depending on the weather, how hot it is, to let that wood dry so we can come back and stain it then. The driveway if they want their sidewalk done, that don't take but maybe an hour, so it's
Maybe like a couple of days
so
if somebody wanted a full clean.
Most of it can be done in 1 day. It'd be the fence that takes, I guess 3 days, the day, and then 2 days later we can come back and and finish the staining if that's what they want.
Okay.
But it could be all done in 1 day. If
Do you test that out on your house?
Yeah, the stain.
And everyone's seen them. The white houses, the white painted bricks, the white stucco. I think those houses catch the most dirt.
Oh yeah, stucco. Yeah. So yeah, it's just gonna take a lot more water to, because the rinsing, I feel like your most important part of the job, because if you leave chemical or even just soap or just any kind of surfactant that you're using, like even on a car, if you leave that soap on there, it's gonna leave like a residue that dried and just you can see it running down.
Oh, yeah.
So the same thing on a house, you'll see that soap or residue that just dried. So rinsing is gonna be the most, in my opinion, most important.
So speaking of the whitewash houses or limestoned houses, however, there's all kinds of things, but basically they're just painted white, essentially, for people who don't know what that means. But is there, so whenever you go to those ones that are painted, do you have to be particularly careful with those as well? Or is the exterior paint usually pretty tough as far as being able to power wash?
Oh, yeah, it don't matter the paint color. Yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
I mean, it don't matter the color of the paint. It's all going to work out great.
Okay. All right.
Do you have to be careful with stucco?
Stucco, well, just the pressure, because that's pretty soft. You could, depending on how old it is, you could probably almost mash your finger into the stucco. But yeah, with stucco, you got to be careful with the pressure.
You probably don't want to put no holes in that stucco.
No,
I was about to say, if you did, it'd probably take on water like crazy.
Yeah. So walk us through a typical day for you.
Man, so typical day would just be, if I don't have nothing lined up that day for work, most of it's at night, but I just try and go out and get more jobs. I like to get my feet on the ground and go talk to customers or go talk to people and try and get more work. And I don't feel like I'm trying to sell them like the money part of it. You got to try and sell them the value of your work.
Sure.
Know, 'cause sometimes they might be fine with the money, but it's going to be, well, what does that value bring to me? So I got to. That's what I'm trying to tell them, the value, like the house, especially if you're trying to sell the house. That curb appeal. You want that curb appeal. Your driveway. I mean, we did 2 garage doors the other day, and the customer was amazed because their garage doors were whites and they thought they were off-white. So, it's just like, well, that's
a lot of dirt come off of that, huh?
And their driveway, they didn't think that it was still nice and gray underneath there. They kind of like black with. So but just trying to get work, and then at night we do the fleet at night, and back to bed and do it all over.
So how many hours of sleep do you actually get every night?
Oh, I probably get about 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
I don't sleep much.
Is that what you need? Or is that like, do you find that good, or do you wish you had more sleep?
Oh, no, I'm fine with that.
I'm kind of a 5-hour power sleeper too, but I do know that I probably need more.
I'm in that 6 to 7 hour range myself. But I mean, it sounds like you're up in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Do you take your kids to school or anything? Like, because you have a little bit of time freedom. How does that look like with the family and work-life balance? How do you help with that?
It just depends. If I take the kids to school, because sometimes I get home like at 2 a.m. So I'll be sleeping when the kids are leaving the house.
Okay.
Or I'll be waking up when they leave for the house.
Okay.
So I still get up around like at 6, 7 o'clock, and that's when they're already starting to head out the door.
Okay.
So, but yeah, about half the week I'll take them though.
Yeah. Are you going?
That's another one of my deals that I enjoy too, is being able to do that and to take some of the food off my wife's plate and put it on mine.
Yeah.
So
do you have like any daily habits or rituals? Like, are you going to the gym? Are you reading a book? Like, what are some things that you're doing to help take care of yourself so that way you can keep powering through the day?
Yeah, so I do have a little bit of weights downstairs that I'll throw around a little bit, and then you got to wake up and immediately just thank God that you woke up with air in your lungs. That one more breath.
Definitely.
Because without Him, really none of this would be possible. So, and then just hugging my kids, letting them know that I love them every morning. I was gonna start walking yesterday morning, but it was raining, and now this morning it's snowing. So,
we got a little bit of crazy weather this weekend.
So,
and so like I guess like we were talking before the podcast started, like how Tony's kind of checking in with like the breathing techniques and stuff that. Is there anything like that you try to do, or like any like meditation or something like that, or like a gratefulness checkpoint, or everybody's got their own thing. So
I think I do have that time in the morning that the wife's at work and the kids are at school, that I like to make plans for the future. Maybe like how can I get to this point in life or this point in my business, and just try to figure that out.
Try to get there.
So you're game planning, journaling, taking notes, trying to figure some things out.
It's writing it down makes it more important, I guess, or makes it more real. Because we can all think of a plan in our head, but once you start jotting it down and really seeing what steps it takes to get to here, it's pretty important to me.
Yeah.
And then just working on my yard. Here the last couple of weeks, that's kind of a.
Are you that dad that's got to have the best yard in the block?
I'm trying to be.
Is it work for you, or is it meditative? Like yard work is meditative for me.
Yeah, that's what
Absolutely.
I'm saying. It's like it's been here the last couple of weeks. Just like, man, I love just sitting in front of the garage and just letting the water water the yard and watching the kids outside, the neighbors playing around and stuff, man, just chilling, man.
I'm laughing because I'm not that dad. I literally pay people to mow my. I don't even own a mower.
Oh man, nah.
I'm just laughing. You guys are like, I love it. I'm just like,
Yep,
man,
I
I can't.
yeah.
I think it's work mowing.
Because even I keep track of how. If I mow my yard, if I mow it this way, then I go this way, and then I go this way, and then I come back going this way. So that way, every time I mow it.
Yep.
So
I use the sundial technique, which is like a thing that I learned at a golf course, which is every time you mow, you start at 12 o'clock, then you 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock,
No
5
way.
o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, all the way to 12, and you just keep rotating it like that.
So every mow you do a different hour.
Yeah,
I did not know that was
and
a
it's
thing.
just to keep your yard and the golf course mainly from getting ruts, where the mower will run, if they run constantly just straight down the length to say like, this is the easiest and quickest way to do it, they'll start making ruts, and your ball will travel the rut instead of traveling the green.
That's a beautiful science.
And so at my house I do the same thing to just try to, not that I'm golfing at my house or anything like that, but just to try to avoid the ruts and things like that.
Yeah. I've always just wished I could be that dad, because I've seen guys on TikTok and Instagram, and they're out there it looks like a golf course in the front. I was like, that is beautiful, but I could never just, invest the time and the knowledge, and I just rather have somebody come out and mow it for us, and it's done.
Nope, I watch YouTube videos on how to make my yard better.
I tell the wife I'm YouTube certified. Man.
Yeah.
So speaking on that, has it been a lot of self-education for you for your industry and growing the business?
Yeah, tremendously. I never thought I would be owning my own business. Never thought, never. So, yeah, it's crazy. It's been a life learning experience on, for me, just financially, I had to learn how to put things aside, how to, taxes, man, it's a crazy deal. What can be written off, what can't be, all your equipment. I never knew I'd learn as much as I do about pressure washing equipment and parts and how to maintenance my own stuff like that. But it's been, and then the kids too, seeing that, it's good.
I think you just had a little moment of gratitude there for a second.
I think so.
It's just like I just never thought it would be like that. I never thought I'd be out here doing this. I just thought oil field. I did it for 13 years and it's just good. So until it isn't.
And a lot of people don't know this, but me and Jeremiah actually worked in the oil field together, and that's where I met him. And I was the same way when I was out there. I was like, man, this money is great, super great, but you're away from your family all the time, man. And to see him, he's been out there a lot longer than I ever was and I ever could be. And to see him where he's at today, man, I just want to say, dude, I'm super proud of you.
Oh man, appreciate that.
We bounce ideas off each other all the time, and it's a lesson learned for both of us. And I'm just, man, I'm super happy for you, super proud of you. The biggest thing was whenever he texted me and said, dude, I quit, I'm done, I'm coming home. No more oil field for me. And I remember how I felt when I left, so I could only imagine how you felt after being, 13 years, you said?
Yeah. And the last 2 years was probably even worse because I was working like 28 days on and 10 days off. I was in Utah, so it's like longer stretch of time being gone, and then they shipped me out, or I'd have to drive from Utah to Louisiana or Midland.
Yeah.
So it was.
So
yeah.
I want to ask you a story, and you can be as transparent as you can about it if you want to. And we've talked about this. After you left the oil field, you did a little bit of trucking for a while, right? For a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah. So,
and there was a thing that happened. Can you kind of tell us what happened when you remember that? What we're talking about? What I'm talking about?
Yeah. So I purchased a semi through Penske, leased on with a company here, and during COVID, didn't have to run logbooks. So truck drivers can only drive 11 hours a day, but work 14 hours a day. Mm-hmm. So during COVID, if you're hauling any kind of goods, you could drive, y'all know the stores didn't have no groceries,
Mm-hmm.
so you could drive as many hours as you wanted. Well, I drove for about 18 hours every day, just making really good money.
Yeah, yeah.
But after about a year, I got a load. I didn't get but 3 hours down the road, and I fell asleep at the wheel. Laid it over, didn't damage no property other than my own.
Yeah.
So,
I've seen the pictures. You had the semi all the way flipped over.
Yeah, I laid it over on the driver's side. Nothing happened. I got some bruised ribs and a cut on my ankle. Nothing like
it's a miracle you're here, in my opinion.
I laid it over on the highway, slid, I don't know how far. Man, if I would have just laid my head down, that was the road, I could have just been gone, and nothing happened to me, man. Just bruised ribs and a cut on my ankle.
Crazy.
And a couple of scratches on my face from I don't know what, but I had scratches on my face.
Yeah.
And I think you told me that was like the pivotal point where you're like, I got to go do something on my own, like a little bit safer, right?
See, and I was even gone longer on the truck driving deal than the oil field. So it's like, well, it's kind of a blessing for me because I was making more money than I had ever doing that, being an owner-operator, but, man, it's taking time from my kiddos and my wife, and that was probably even more lonelier than the oil field, because you're by yourself on the road. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's it. So I think that for that kind of a job, you got to be. I ain't built for that. Yeah. I wasn't built for that.
That's pretty wild. I'm grateful to know you. I'm glad you are okay. And it's been good getting to know you through the group. It's been great getting to know Tony through the group too. That was pretty awesome story, dude. Really, that's kind of crazy. That would definitely change anybody's mind about what they want to do with the rest of their life, and probably make you do certain things a little more intentionally, I would imagine.
Oh yeah. Well, even now, even if we take a trip to out of town, man, if I'm tired, it's
you let everybody know.
Hey, either we can pull over and let me take a nap, or the wife can drive. And now here pretty soon my daughter will be driving.
Hey, yeah. You gonna trust her?
She gonna. We'll see.
Oh, cool.
She'll get to share that drive time too.
Yeah. Well, I think it's been great getting to know you. I think as we kind of wrap up a little bit, maybe what would your customers be surprised to know about you? To kind of close out, what's something that you would like them to know about you personally, and then your business?
I don't know. I just hope that my work precedes itself. That I work hard and I don't stop. I won't leave any job site until my customers are happy with it. So, I just hope that precedes me, and that they know that. I have no problems going back for minor things if they need me to come back. Which is very, very rare. I don't know, just that I try to be the best I can.
Yeah.
I try to be the best I can in any situation.
I think that's the best way to be.
Entrepreneur, friend, anything. I try to be the best I can.
Yeah. There's like an old Nick Saban quote, I think it's Nick Saban, where he says something about, and correct me, anybody, if I'm wrong, but he says something about like, if you're gonna do something, why not be the best at it? Like, why are you even gonna do it if you're not gonna try to be the best that you can be at it? And so I'm pretty sure that's why his teams are incredible year after year after year.
Absolutely.
Well, Jeremiah, thanks for hanging out with us. Like I said, great getting to know you. Tony, as always, thanks for being a host with me.
This was fun. Thank you. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, and then everybody, if y'all like the podcast, we'd appreciate it. If y'all go like, subscribe, and then join us for the next one, and we'll try to keep y'all updated as far as our social media and everything about when we'll be putting those out. And we'd love to hear y'all's feedback.